And you are being recorded. Okay, good evening, folks. This is a special Monday night Democracy Delivered work program meeting where we're working on iteration 1 of our online work program. And there's been a lot of discussion about what we should do first. And I kind of helped steer our direction initially because I went to purchase this type of service from a company on Fiverr, and I saw the invoice and I realized that for the dollar value they were making and the service they were providing and the overwhelming response they were having, there was a market there that we could meet. So I didn't hear back for 2 weeks. I know Nell Stamper's on the line, and I know she's been having some challenges working with the individual because they're so busy. And they offer many things on Fiverr around the same particular thing. So we are going to help manage folks' Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, potentially Pinterest, and others that are, I guess, younger than my generation in terms of what are out there. But we're going to learn quickly, react, and then provide support. The number one thing we're going to convey is our desire to assist our customer service response time. If someone emails us for an opportunity, we're going to get back to them almost immediately and queue up on those. And then for that period of the month or two that we provide service, we're going to be very attentive and really make sure that we engage in a very positive conversation with those folks. We may even do it at a reduced price or free with some of the businesses that we know already. And it's really about scheduled discipline. So and providing the right tone and interacting with customers in a way that you would, you really have to put yourself in the mind of the small business that we're going to be supporting. So I think we're going to get some pretty decent return. The company will probably take 10 or 15% of these offerings, and the individuals doing the work will take the other portion. So on the invoice we had, we're going to try to steer them towards the pro-social aspect of things, which includes 3 or 4 accounts, 7 weekly posts, audience targeting, potentially 1 video. We might include that or exclude that depending on opportunity. And then the invoice we received was $1,550 because they included an upcharge to set up the accounts. For each account, to set up a Facebook account was $300. So we can probably do better than these guys, and it might be a little bit of a loss leader initially, but that's the example. The wealth of people we have already in our site is immense. I've had individuals call me that often are non-urban areas that have skill sets that are pretty good. As an example, I have a cousin who is an environment management specialist, works for a company that does clean harbors, clean water, and I know he's been doing it for years, but he could easily consult, for a couple $100 an hour and offer a 5-hour briefing and develop a white paper recommending how certain companies can get compliant for the state that they're involved with. And then he has a nexus to sell those products as well. So that's one particular example. The folks on the phone have a depth of service capability. Everything that, and John Kondratowicz, who's a member, is and John Hennigan's on the phone. They've been doing college applications lately. They could do everything from this social media management to assisting with college application scheduling and planning. If you've not been involved with that and it's your first child, you got to get way ahead of that. And then, anticipating costs and coming up with a strategy and all that sort of thing, to other examples, to managing these websites. And it could be even easier. I know Bill Walsh is on the line. We're going to do some work for his company, happily so. Bill and Joe Bader are both early premium adopters of our thought process, but we're going to ask our constituency, probably 30 to 40 people, to test an app for them. And then we're going to offer that application testing capability. And we can even customize it a little bit. So if you want your app tested by people in Florida, or if you want your app tested by a certain age group or skill set, we can offer a lot of flexibility with our constituency. The constituents might get $5 or $10 or $7 or $8 or $11 to do that. We would develop a standard form that they could use to evaluate the product with, and then we would aggregate those results in a way that I think would be productive. I would have certainly purchased 10 or 12 folks to test our app early on if we didn't have the constituents we did. So those are the thought processes. And simply, we'll queue up the ideas. We'll look at the skill sets. Justin Scott has volunteered to focus on developing this process, but we might pull in Wade, Mike, and Bill to also queue up these opportunities. So on our site, as we've shown before, on the third menu drop-down on our social portal, is your work skills here. And this is, it's a little bit, we purchased this for $29, this app. It's a little hokey, but it works out pretty well. So if you notice, these folks have thrown in their skill sets already, and we can sort by, for example, if I just went to nutrition, sorry if I can spell it, nutrition, then we find, Vince can provide support. We can ask him questions. So we're going to ask those folks that are interested in working online just to drop some of their skill sets in here. And then eventually, you don't need to be terribly specific, but at least gives us a grouping of folks. So I forgot what I dropped in here. But Mike Beach and John Kondratowicz share the same type of skill set, which is pretty good. So you can see folks are starting to put in different skills. Like even Ryan Brown, who's a police officer in South Carolina, put in protector of students. It'd be interesting for him to write a white paper to, if you're a parent or a school or some of those processes, you might want some type of consulting. So we're gonna find ways to advertise that, and I think this is going to be a huge part of our revenue over time, because we really do it in the most honorable way possible. So I mentioned earlier that, let's say we have a client or a customer that's not happy, and we're a third of the way through the process, and for some reason it doesn't work out. Someone gets kidney stones, can't attend the issue, they become ill during that period. We're just going to openly deal with that company in the best way possible, potentially return their funding, and really avoid the standard to and fro that comes with trying to fight over a few dollars. I also think this is going to be a huge way for us to gather our new participants, because we'll be able to communicate and provide service offerings really through Democracy Delivered. So we might even set up a template where you manage your customer interaction through a standard process or form to make it easier for you to use. So folks that sign up for this are going to get a lot of help. So that's a thought process. Sammy, myself, Mike Beach, I appreciate their efforts. We're iterating on version 1 of social media, and we're going to head a lot of different directions. So anything that exists on Fiverr that you're willing to do, or some of the other sites, we'll provide support for. All right, that's the topic material. I just want to leave it to open discussion or questions. I'll stop sharing screen for a minute here, see if anyone else has joined. But any open topics or thoughts on online work? I think you're on mute there, Wade.
How do we do the...
There you go. Say again. I think you dropped yourself back on mute. I'll clear you. There you go. It's a sticky button. Try again. Interesting. There it goes. Nope, it's back on again. Okay. You want to try typing it?
No.
Oh, there you are. Now I can hear you.
Got it. So how do we do the pricing? Because it's not just $5. So how do you come up with the skill and the price and all that?
Well, we may have a few loss leaders. Like, as an example, at least I saw the invoice and the opportunity were provided. I say we just, and I'm going to adopt our legal representative's mindset to it, but you just price it at the level that you need to make it work for you, and then accept the no's. So in her example, she early on in her career set her price for a specific target group and then turned down customers that said no. And over time, she has to turn people away. So we could offer $5 offerings like Wade, I know you like to play in the sand with your feet. When you're out at the beach, you can draw "I love you, Bill" for $5. And Sammy does that.
Yeah, I could do something like that. I'll do that for $5.
Well, what happens is it gets our ratings back, right? So, and you see the number of folks, but if we end up, your company rating is based on all your work on Fiverr as an example. But and what we can also do is prime the pump a little bit and have 10 people buy a picture of your feet in the sand, and then you have to just provide good support, and then they honestly rate what you've done, you know. So
Yep.
that's fine. So
what are some of the most popular things that Fiverr does?
yeah, it's interesting. They've broken it out across the spectrum. If you look at, I mean, and it really is, a lot of it's video production for ads, it's management, it's SEO marketing, it's anything related in the digital medium. There's a lot of support for. And then it's interesting. Let me just pull it up for you. Then I'll share screen again here. All right, so this spokesperson video, myself, Nell, and others really liked her, and I'll just hit play. But we thought she did a really good job.
And welcome to this very special Fiverr gig. I'll be your video spokesperson and promotional model to help you promote your business, product, service, brand, or website. If you're looking for professional video content, this gig is exactly what you need.
So that's an example. We liked her persona to represent our company, so we made purchase from here. But as an example, you know, Lee has done some great commercials for us. She could do this, you know, in a few different levels and offer the same type of skills. So when you come across Fiverr, if you look at video animation, which is more heavily programming and tech, we've got a few programmers involved that will definitely push their skills through here, which is pretty good. All right, you guys enjoy open discussion a second. I have a screaming child in the background. I got to see if one has hurt the other two immensely. I'll be right back, okay? I'm going to drop us off recording at this point for that fact.